Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hackensack, New Jersey, the duck nest.
The former Hackensack Dale Annex, then the bachelor's pad, but soon to be the duck nest. And we welcome you today because this could be the last time ever.
Just for the record, this is the DEWAnDrew Conspiracy, and you are here to conspire. We are here to conspire with you, and hopefully vice versa. That's sort of the goal: to breathe together, to learn, to grow, to integrate into this experience more and more.
Before we conspire, I just want to quickly say that we're here together in the duck nest for the last time, probably, maybe for a long time, but maybe forever. So that's why I just jumped in before the conspiracy, because it's important to realize that this is a sacred show, that we might never have this time again in Dale eternity.
Here's a little secret for you. Every moment is like that.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Just saying. But yes.
That's right. It's Dale reality every moment.
But there's nothing wrong with acknowledging the present moment and the significance of it from your perspective. I fully support this. And it is it feels significant. It has been significant to get to know each other, to be in each other's presence, maybe almost too much sometimes.
Well, he needed a 3-hour bike ride yesterday, and I understood completely.
Well, it's the point is we felt it, we acted accordingly, and we both created the time and space we needed to integrate, to be by ourselves, to, have that quiet time or whatever we needed to get done, right? I needed to get some aggression out. I need to ride the bike and, get my ass kicked climbing this steep ass hill. But, it was so just resetting, and then, man, it's just been a ride, hasn't it, these last few days?
It has, and it's like you said in one of our walks, even in marriage, you need your alone time.
Correct. No, there's alone time, there's bro time, like masculine time, and there's feminine time. That's the way and an allocation to each of those, whatever, percentage, whatever feels right? But bro times for sure matters. Alone time for sure matters. I feel that all the way. And so yeah, cool. We did it, and we're here, and it's. I guess we should pause for just a second. We have been doing breath work pretty much every morning. The one we demonstrated last time, and that's been I think that's been pretty fun to do with you. And
it's exhausting to do that for 7 minutes. It really makes you concentrate, and that's the point of the meditation, I think.
Well, there's several points, right? There's a lot going on. It's a pretty active. I mean, like you said, you raise your hand on the inhale and you sweep down on the exhale, and you do that 7 minutes with the O shape. Now, anyway, so I don't know if that's the technique we do again today, or the alternate nostril was kind of coming to me before the show too.
I was thinking panting dog is always fun.
Oh, that's his favorite. All right, that's fine. I like that too. Yeah. We got Miss Willow over here. She's tucked in on the side of the couch.
And she's been doing that a lot today, so.
Yeah, she's been a good girl on this trip. It's been fun to have her with me. Okay, everyone. So the panting breath, the skull shining breath, the Kalabati pranayama. It's a favorite of ours for sure. And so, we close down the eyes like always. Get out any wiggles. And then this one, if you want to put your hand on your tummy to kind of feel it moving, you can. You don't have to. But the idea is to have a forced exhale and let the inhale sort of rebound. And we'll hold that for, I don't know, let's try it. Should we do a minute?
Oh, wait.
I'll have to look in order to keep track of time.
It's 4:40.
Okay. All right. We'll close the eyes.
We'll begin at 4:44.
We just passed that. But that's okay. All right. Exhale. 30 seconds. Ten. One. 0. We actually didn't go a full minute, but it felt like a lot. So
Right.
I didn't want us to pass out.
Oh.
But yeah, that's a good. Whew, that hyperoxygenates. That gets all the little tingles flowing, doesn't it? It's pretty wild.
And I don't have a new poem this week. I did, but I don't know where it went. We've been
It's shocking.
We've been rearranging everything, and that's why things are sort of chaotic. But usually and normally I know where everything is. But we'll start with this. What about this? Forecasting the weather of devotion, because I think this will tie into what we might be talking about today. Hello, Willow. We have a Pooch here who is ready to hear the poem. Forecasting the weather of devotion. Every heart is its own ecosystem, capable of going from blazing hot to cyclonically chaotic with mere single word from the true beloved, blotting out the sun like the orb of the moon in the eclipse, even as desire incinerates the spirit, for the moments of lost amour felt in the heat of infatuations by which every pure lover defines himself.
And there was no bombs in that one, bro.
Only cyclones.
Cyclones. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, there's a rhythm of the sun and the moon there for sure.
And the sun and the moon, and also like the storms of like when the word of your beloved like totally throws you into chaos. And it's sort of like a cyclone covering the sun, but then the moon orb comes afterwards. And that was from my first collection, Seraphim on the Cusp of Spring, available at Amazon under the name D.E. Walsh. But the reason I said, thinking about devotion and everything, devotion, of course, has like a lot of meanings, depths, and everything. There's the devotion of a lover to the lover. There's the devotion of to something holy, which is what I thought we could talk about. Because we were sort of debating. We don't want to get in. Well, this is the DEWAnDrew Conspiracy, and we do say our conspiracy is the breath of God from the breath of God to Adam, which is the first conspiracy, the first breathing together, because life, according to the Bible, was given to Adam through God by the
I'm gonna
breath.
ban that phrase.
According to the Bible.
It's like, bro, we can just acknowledge what's true, right? Like, so the breath of God going into creation, into, what animates this existence. I think that's what we're pointing to, yeah?
Right.
And so God is the sort of the unifying force, the glue, the mycelium network that sort of connects it all.
Well, in terms of how I'm seeing this discussion developing, I think it's important to, distinguish between God as the creator, or God as source, which basically is beyond earth, and God is like the incarnation that's created in the Bible, and that's why I said in the biblical sense. I meant, of course, the biblical origin story shows like one in millions of origin stories. I meant the Native American. Every culture has its own origin story, and we as Americans tend to refer to the Bible as the only origin story.
We as Americans, bro. What?
No, I'm just stating, I think.
Okay, no, you're good. Keep going. Give us the contrast, and then I'll give you the.
Exactly. I mean, this is what
we as Americans. I mean, that's an
what's
identification, literally.
This is what's come out of.
We as Americans.
You're speaking for someone else. Rule number one,
right?
And you're identifying as something that creates limitation.
And this is what has come out 4 days of Andrew and I being together. So get used to it. But
more than 4 days,
so
bro. Way more than 4 days. Just by the way.
But I'm talking about. One, I did generalize. I said Americans, and I'm just like, I think if you, at least in New Jersey, most.
How about the people that you come into contact with?
They consider themselves biblical Christians.
Let's go one further. The people in your universe.
People in my universe a lot of them are very aware and beyond the Bible. But I also come into a lot of people who are still very attached to the Bible, and that's why I speak it. And that's what I'm saying is that's why I said we as Americans.
But it's a universe you're creating.
No, it's a universe that the Matrix has created. That a lot of Americans, whether it's a majority or not, consider the Bible the origin story of, or they consider evolution. So. But they consider some sort of like Western-based creation story that's ultimately just one book, one story that's been adopted by by at least millions, if not billions of people is real. And that's why I say, according to the Bible, life began when God, who I think I mean, we can go into this too, but, quantity, not trinity, so, but.
Finish your thought, bro. You can do it.
Life began when God gave Adam breath from his divine holiness. And actually, God the Father and Eden.
What you just said was one of many origin stories.
Right.
So we're telling this is like the primary origin story for all the people who.
No, I'm saying this is what the name of our podcast is based upon: conspiracy.
I see.
Breathing together, and when people ask me what side are you on, like Trump or the left or Alex Jones or Rachel Maddow, I say we discuss the first conspiracy, the conspiracy of God's breath into Adam. And that's why I parenthesize it with according to the Bible. Yeah. Because I know the Bible is not the only origin story.
There we go. Cool. Excellent. Yes, that's true. All true. So yeah, we're here. We're doing it. I don't know.
So we can get back to the poem, devotion.
Devotion.
So, there are many types of devotion, but actually, Andrew and I were getting into a very interesting discussion just before we started, and then we turned it on and about Jesus, or as you say, Andrew, Yeshua. And the conversation began. He said, "Well, if someone is doing great things," and he says, "I'm Greg instead of Dale," then I don't care.
My point is, there's power in a name,
right?
Or there isn't. So is there power in a name or is there not?
There is. So
There is power in a name.
So Greg is just as powerful as Dale.
So then then there isn't power. If all names are equally powered, then there isn't power in a name. If there's no distinction, then there's no power.
Because every individual is defined by their name, and therefore their power is defined.
Okay, so now you're saying your name defines you.
No, I'm saying the power within the person that you are is reflected in your name. You are not necessarily your name, but that's how you direct your power.
Okay. I don't know. None of that made any sense.
I know it did. So you make your point, Andrew. I've been talking too much anyway.
Well, my point is, either there is power in a name, or there is not. But inherently, there's a label we're putting on something with a name. We call a tree a tree. Well, there's thousands of types of trees. There's different ages of tree. There's lots of ways to define that thing. And once you put a label on it, your brain has a structure that is based off of the relationships you've associated with the word tree. And now all those associations start coming in, and you start to lock in what it is, and it becomes less like amorphous, less ethereal.
It becomes more concrete. Correct.
And so my point with that is, clearly labeling something matters to some extent. There are relationships in our brain that are associated with those words. And so there's a relationship in our brain associated with Jesus, and the Jesus association is the one from the Bible that you're talking about. I mean, I think that's the primary association. So then this Yeshua theme is about breaking that association, because it says, according to my best understanding of what someone would have done with their freaking vocal cords in their mouth when addressing this human who existed on Earth and seems to influence the trajectory significantly of our reality, key figure, okay, they would say something closer to Jeshua, okay? I don't know. I could be getting that wrong too, but something closer to that. And so I would choose to address this person who seems very important as he would have been addressed. Doesn't that make inherent logic? And so we changed his name to Jesus. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense at all.
The Bible changed the name to Jesus. So
the Bible changed the name of this very important person to do what?
Well, okay, I understand exactly. And this is, take my example. Take the quantity. The Dale Dewey Do Duck Genius. So, and before I say anything about this, I should say that Jesus did say to his disciples, he sent 70 disciples, or he sent so many disciples out, and some of them came back and said, Jesus, and I'm going to use Jesus because that's what I'm used to, but Jesus, we saw these people throwing demons out of people in your name, and we told them to stop because they weren't associated with us. And Jesus came down hard and said, that was wrong. If someone uses my name to do something that's godly, then let him.
Yeah, so it's still but you acknowledge that's probably how he would have been addressed, but you're used to using but there's no attempt to transition to something different.
No, you forgot the basic point of the quantity. Dale, Dewey, Doug, and Genius. So basically, because there are 5 of me and I have 6 novels, then let's say there's people want to translate my novels. And it doesn't necessarily have to be nefarious like it seems the religion used it to. But, I meant for, say, on Nucleus, Dale might be translated as Gwandida, you know, and so
that's never true. Names don't get translated into they get. The point of the name is to get the utterance as close to what you would address that person with if you met them, how they would introduce themselves. That's the point of the characters. And so the characters don't even do that. It's like close-ish, but they're clearly different. And the one is easy to say with English characters.
Right.
I'm just not buying what you're selling, bro. I'm not. It's just not happening.
Well,
you're saying a name doesn't matter, but it does. So we're addressing him by not his name. Doesn't that seem weird?
Okay, and
the Bible wasn't just translated; it was chosen. You just mentioned before.
Right.
That there's other books, right, that are not included in this text.
Oh yeah, well that's what we got from here, the corruption and what religion's all about, and you can preach your point, but I'm just saying, it doesn't really upset me. And I've seen some like reels on Instagram. This will maybe influence me on this too. But they were saying, whatever Joshua, whether that was Aramaic, and ultimately it was like the Greek that named Jesus, and that's what's been used for like, basically since the beginning of the church for the translations. So, but I understand exactly what you're saying, and I have a lot of friends who agree with you. I just it's like cannabis and marijuana, like we were saying on the replay of the show I did about how I was like learning to say marijuana, to say cannabis, when I usually have been so programmed to say marijuana. So, maybe Jesus and Joshua is just something that I'm growing into, especially as we pursue the Quinity more, and the Lord DEWAnDrew Christ truth starts getting more and more realized, but the truth will set you free, and hit it, Andrew.
No, I appreciate. I mean, I came full circle, I think. So I feel like we've resolved that and see sort of eye to eye. I just feel like it's sort of like think about the other things we've discussed on this show. Like the integrity of the word and accuracy of the word,
right,
especially with poetry. Like, it all feels sort of in alignment from my perspective.
It's absolutely true. If you're going to talk about sovereignty, you got to talk about your name and the power of the name, because the sovereignty comes from your realization of how much power your name has. And that's basically what I said to you. If somebody says, you're doing everything I do is in the name of Greg, well, first off, people are going to know that Greg isn't Dale because they know who I am. And secondly, if he is performing miracles, then he's either the Antichrist and he's sent from God anyway, or third, nobody's going to pay attention to him. And, and he'll make his name on social media, and everybody will love him, and he'll have 10,000 followers. So
we still talking about Greg here?
What?
We still talking about Greg here?
We're talking about Greg as a general name.
I understand. Yes.
But but on the other hand, Dale does have power.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like,
And,
wow,
but that's
Dale can hold it all. Dale, Dewey Duck Genius can just hold it all, the whole spectrum.
because we're being controlled by the Dialina. and people are going to be very tell the revelation.
I'm gonna draw this curtain.
Yeah. Tell them the revelation you had about Elon Musk and how much better it is to just summon a spaceship rather than build one.
Bro, that was our oh geez, that's a weird place.
I know.
Here we go. That was a fun night that we went out, right? And we had a little 420 break near the bridge over to Fairleigh Dickinson, and we're enjoying the beauty of the evening, and the moon was popping. And then we also turn around and we see these two like golden, like, I don't know, candle flame orb looking things just floating in the sky, pretty stationary. I don't know, satellite, whatever it was. I don't know. Who knows what it was, but it was noteworthy because we were kind of talking about it. And Dale's like, well, see, those are our two spaceships. And then I said, yeah, wouldn't it be funny if we summon like a robot technology and spaceship technology down to Earth, and he's been trying to like bring it in through all this like effort and suffering of, you know, his employees working crazy hours and him, you know, sleeping on the factory floor, like all these stories of like heroic suffering, and then we just like boop.
Here's the Dialina.
We got it now, guys. We just had to boop it. I don't know why. I don't know what you were doing, but we were booping it.
And it's happening.
It is. So we're bringing in all this. We're gonna just like whoop, and we're gonna have our own little spaceships, and we'll go explore and do fun things, and
the opposite of whoop is poof.
Yeah.
And if the Dialina doesn't like you, poof. You're back to Dale.
Yes, indeed. So, I don't know. Let's bring some grounding. Let's bring this down to earth just a little bit.
So this is like the final state of the bachelor of the duck nest before we get a paint job, and so actually this is really something we should let our listeners know about. Is our big trip, adventure road trip for Dewey, Dale, Duck Genius, all those guys.
How are they gonna fit in the car? That's the question.
Know.
I don't think that's gonna.
With the dog, no less.
Miss Whittle, look how cute she is. Can we just like pause for just 1 second? Willow's the best good girl. She's been chasing squirrels like nonstop this week, having a blast doing it, and giving Dale kisses now, so kind of settling into the space, and I guess she thinks this guy's okay. So that's been fun, and it evolved in a very odd fashion this morning, but we were talking about a friend of his that he met on the internet. And I was skeptical of her.
Who is Zayla, the daughter of Truly Stylish and Velvet Velour, who I, in my novel, predicted was the chosen bride of the Lord and would marry him in 2013. No, 2317. But the fact is that
that's a long way from now, just for the record.
And Dale makes it. So, but anyway, so that's the basic story. But what's happened is in the last 2 years, actually since I met the Empress. Empress was like Velvet Velour. So that's really where this story begins. But anyway, I met Zayla. For the month of April in 2024, I think it was National Poetry Month, so I posted a poem every day on Facebook, and she just really liked my poetry, so we started talking, and turns out she's like a beautiful 25-year-old girl, and I'll let
Well, we've done some of this story before.
But,
So we don't need to all do it the whole thing again. The point is come to the present. He has a relationship with this person. It's developed over time. I don't believe it's real. I think it's bullshit. There's just some math ain't mathing for me. And so he starts texting her. I'm like, hey, Aunt, my buddy Andrew's rolling through your area. He'd love to stop and meet and see if there's something he can do to help and blah blah blah. And all of a sudden she's like, nah, but if you come with, I would be happy to.
No, so she says, but this is what got Andrew going. She says, that's very nice, but I'm fine. Everything is good, but if he wants to help us out financially, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, that didn't help. That was a point against. So anyway, we continue on, and anyway, she's agreed to meet us at a restaurant at a time tomorrow. So we're setting out on this quest.
Well, if I could.
Yes, please.
I just want to like get the background of like Andrew's skepticism and everything, because it was very great, and I've known this young lady is real. She's my daughter for the last 12 months. So, so it's sort of like a big test for me.
No, what it is a test of our co-creation.
Right.
Dale goes up to space, and I bring it down. Exactly.
Drew Christ is his grounding. Dale is his ad-light.
I think that's what's happening. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, boom, skeptical. You're like, whoop. And anyway, so either that or we're going to get kidnapped and murdered on a road trip tomorrow. So, we'll see. It's a toss of the dice, really. But I'm relatively optimistic that either way it's going to be an adventure. And I guess the idea is to continue on to Colorado Springs. And we're both going to spend some time in my universe, the universe I have created. And so you'll have some of that experience, break you out of solitary for a little while, right?
And disc golf.
Break me out of solitary, probably too. And
disc golf.
Disc golf, yeah. If it's not snowing, we'll be disc golfing for sure. I think we're still on the good side of the snow for the city, but the mountains have started getting some for sure by now.
Right.
Anyway, yes, so it's an adventure, and it all just spun out of nothing this morning. It was freaking wild, right? And so, literally tomorrow, we're setting out on this quest, and
we have to be at the restaurant by 7:30 in Dayton, Ohio. So we have a deadline to meet Zayla and her sister.
Yeah, we gotta get up and make moves, but that's fine. It's super doable, and so it is. And so the power of manifestation, I don't know. It's an adventure. Who gives a shit? We're excited. I mean, I don't know if you can tell. If you can't tell, you're dead. So wake up.
And we're both in yellow today because we're feeling so radiant.
And it was actually kind of coincidental.
Right.
Like, I don't think he had really clocked my shirt until he walked out of because I had showered and got cleaned up before the show. So anyway, fun synchronicities. The one night with the moon and we walked, we saw the moon, we saw the spaceships, and then we saw this group of ducks. And this male stayed up on the bank and was like chilling 10 feet away from us. Like, and I don't know if you know, he's sort of into that sort of thing.
Well, I never seen such a audacious duck on campus. And that we walked by him, he didn't pay any attention to us and everything. And there was a bench, and I just said, we have to watch this dog, because that was Dewey Duck. And it was proof that Dewey Duck is back in Hackensack.
So another co-manifestation, co-creation of
Disneyverse.
Bringing it in.
Disneyverse.
I don't know. That's just like, if I don't see the downside of believing that's true.
Right.
Of believing that we're creating these scenarios inherently, and enjoying sort of the adventure of moving through them and just appreciate the duck, right? We could have just kept walking, or we could have sat and taken the moment and seen that it was cool. And we chose the latter, but that was a choice. It's always a choice.
And then the next night, Andrew and I are walking through campus alone, and besides the fact that we had Willow off the leash and public safety for the first time said something, but we're walking among these dormitories, and it was like a Hawaiian sunset, and Andrew was just trying to take pictures with his camera and saying these are so inadequate, just like the kaleidoscopic interplay of the galactic cosmic dance that we were seeing, walking together with Willow. I mean, Willow obviously is the greatest co-creator of the soul, because she doesn't have the human filters that we have,
Well, she was common to both experiences, so we can't rule it out. It's a good, valid theory. So we're living in Willow's universe, and it's lovely. There's lots of squirrels to chase, and beautiful sunsets to witness, and ducks to admire. And so here we are, and now we're going to do it in my universe and see what happens. I think it's going to be fun.
Well, the bottom line is we're taking the Dialine out for a test drive for the first time since it's been fully constructed.
Yeah. Yes, we are. And, it's exciting. It's also, like, just a little bit sobering, maybe. Just a reminder that, like, this is actually, like, pretty major in a lot of ways. And so let's see it.
I mean, basically, I've been in my apartment for the last 2 years. Since I guess I was in Las Vegas in 2024. That was the last time. So basically in July. So it's basically been a year and a half since I've been just cogitating and building plans in the bachelor's pad.
Yeah. All right. So it's like riding a bike. You don't forget. So
Right.
It's all gonna be fine. But yeah, we're excited about our adventure and just to keep kind of this momentum rolling. But I think just I think it's just gonna be more. Well, I don't know what it's gonna be, but we're gonna have an adventure along the way, and that's the point. So.
Well, I'm really curious to see how we affect how Dialine affects outside reality, outside THC.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna show you some of the sites. I'm excited to be able to do that, and also just the little bubble that I roam in too. Like
right.
Mine isn't that much bigger most of the time. It doesn't need to be. Like I think that's the point is why we get along so well is because I think we both can appreciate just ourselves. And that's such and if you can do that, then you can never be bored. It's not actually possible. And to be present with someone who can also experience that is, I don't know, it's been dope. So
I feel the same way, Andrew, and but there's also like you've had for whatever reason, whether it was biogenetic predestination or 45 years of just your life or whatever, you've had the alignment with me to be able to hang out with me for a full week and really enjoy it and see the potential, and that's basically never happened before. I mean, I've had people in the apartment before, for long times. Actually, the longest was probably like 10 months, and it was like the worst 10 months of my life. But that was that was after I gave up pot too. So marijuana or cannabis or THC or whatever you want to call it. But
we can just call it cannabis. That's fine. That seems
Right.
like its
But-
name.
But anyway, so, just having the groove to be able to groove on me is like such a unique experience in my life that has been really fulfilling.
Cool. Same. No, it has been. Absolutely. I don't think you understand how two-sided this is. You think it's all about, like, but it's not really. There's a lot that's gone down to, like, expand both of our fields. And so, and I left. I don't know if you remember. I went on a little side quest to
Right.
New York City, and it was like in New York City, this great city, and in this apartment with a chill cat and these beautiful ladies, and vibe for sure at times, but it's like it's not the same. It wasn't the same, and I knew it. So, and I knew we were doing work here, like, both of us were doing shit. Because part of, like, when I'm clarifying, when I'm like, I'm listening to you to run it through my filter, because I've said most of the same things you have at one point in my life, right? It's not like we're different. We're just slightly, like, doing this about different topics, right? And as we level up, we also kind of have come together on some things, and that's really cool, is to feel that synchronization, the synchronicities, and to witness it in our realities in such a cool and powerful ways.
Well, I think what you're talking about and what was really hit me is you say there's lady time, bro time, and what's the third one?
Alone time.
And alone time. And this is our bro time.
Yeah.
And this is the beginning of our bro time. But it's been a magnificent beginning, but and it's just we've just built the foundation, but you had the fucking guts to actually come out to Hackensack and see if I was even real. Because
Yeah,
a lot of people have said I'm just like AI or something.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We're all AI until we're not. Yeah, I've been bringing people into real life for a while now. It's pretty cool. More than a handful of people from the internet have become real. And yeah, I don't know why that's so satisfying for me, but it just is. And so yeah, we real. It ain't no AI.
I'm calling this trip to Colorado the show them we're real tour.
Yeah, I think it's confirming that it is real tour, and that it'll be two ways, right? It'll be both,
Right.
And so we're gonna go do some Lord Do God and Drew Christ shit. We're gonna do some kingdom shit, and I can't even wait. I'm really excited, and yeah, if I want to hear about y'all's kingdom shit, like the cool things that are coming in for you, or the shadows that you've uncovered, whatever it is, the whole spectrum is valid, right? But if that's something you're open to sharing, that's kind of what it's about, and having a reflection that can offer that from a perspective that has some real depth to it and is present. It's a pretty valuable resource to have in your life.
Absolutely, and I open randomly to hear to it says I still yearn for her, and this is
so much yearning.
well this is actually rather relevant to what we were just talking about, because it's about Velvet Velour, but this is based upon the prototype for Velvet Velour, who is the most beautiful redhead I've ever met in my life who was like basically my best friend at Fairleigh Dickinson when I was there. And she graduated, became a stewardess, met a United Airline captain, married him, had 2 kids, and didn't even invite me to the wedding. So,
Well, we're still yearning for her.
right, so I still yearn. And to close the story, about 2 months ago, I had a dream with her in it. And it was, she looked as beautiful as ever. She was still Lucy DeSalvo, LDS, LSD for dyslexics. And so, anyway, so we were in the dream and we were talking and she was being very friendly to me and everything. And I said, "What about your husband?" And she said, "Oh, I hate him. I think she said he's an asshole." So anyway, we go into this restaurant and she like disappears, and I realize that she has my phone and she's vanished. And so I bet, and the restaurant had like a garden sort of thing. So I'm like wandering through this garden, and she's like never coming back. She had my phone, and I say, "Oh yeah, this is the '80s, isn't it?" And that's when I woke up. So this goes. But that's how Lucy DeSalvo ended her run in my subconscious.
Understood. Yes.
I still yearn for her. And and Empress Rose, Velvet Empress Rose, is the real thing. So she was prototype for Velvet Velour, who reached me to my core. But another man she did marry, so feelings I had to bury. Now being mother to 2 girls as precious as 1,000 large pearls. While I loved her scarlet hair and her body curvaceous and fair, at which other men did stare with fingers both long and frail. As about her I wrote tale that will echo through many years, which produced laughter leading to tears, a modern myth from my heart, in which she played critical part, but still I love her so, more than anyone can ever know, including women whom I have adored, though with them I never soared to heights of an eagle summit she created with her beauteous wit.
Nice. Yeah, I feel that. I could read that to my about my ex-wife for sure.
And the glorious thing is, Rose is Velvet Velour. So I'm not yearning anymore.
No more yearning. But you can still hold like
right.
that with like this love or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I think that's, I don't know. That's been my experience. So same. There's like a detachment. She's off doing her own thing, but I still care that like she exists and she's doing well, and with nothing but the best for her in her life.
And the interesting thing about Lucy DeSalvo is I didn't meet her until I was like halfway through the first book, or 3/4 of the way through the first book of the trilogy. So I asked her, I said, "You want to meet Velvet Velour?" And she says, "I don't know, you're the author." So, okay. And then she married Major Tom, the United Airline pilot.
Yeah. Those airline pilots, they get paid, bro.
No, but whenever David Bowie's Captain Tom would come on, his name was Tom, so it was like, what is it? Whatever the David Bowie song is with Captain Tom, Major Tom to ground control.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. So every time that would come on, I would think of her, And then the other big one was Fred, because Fred was like right in the middle of things when I was her best friend at Fairleigh. So whenever Panama comes on, the song by Van Halen, I think of Lucy in her hot red sports car, and Fred driving full speed down the New Jersey Turnpike, trying to get away from me or something. I don't know. I don't know what they were doing, but
He doesn't know.
yeah,
We don't know. We definitely don't know. But that's okay.
that's an alternate timeline we never had to cover.
Yeah, that one just went.
So why don't we talk about that? Well, how much time we? Yeah, so why don't we just talk about like what timelines are collapsing all around us, and as
Well, I just don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're collapsing or if they just never really. But like, I had some plans to go see some other friends, and those all just went poof this morning too, in the middle of our thing. And so it's like, what was that just my creation, and now we're co-creating, or some version of that, right? I don't fully understand it. We're kind of playing around with it, is the point, aren't we?
right. Well, what you call Willow, I'm calling God or Source. I just feel we're being sort of like not really pawned around, but like moved around by a greater force than us, and and that's why That's why everything is working out so well. So for instance, I had 2 days of medication left, but I didn't have. First off, I called the pharmacy and they said I didn't have a prescription. So that's a big problem. And so I call my mental health doctor, and they say he's working today. There's a opening at 1:20. So long story short, I get the prescription. He called the pharmacy so I can get it today, because I couldn't get it before 3 days late. 3 days from now. But he said, I'm going to call him and tell him you're on a trip, so they'll give you your medication. And the way his plans basically fell through, it's all a synchronistic convergence of what I think is higher plans, and whether it's Willow or God or some other force that's doing it. Your point about how we're co-creating is the reason everything is working out so well is because we're co-creating in such alignment with the higher powers.
That is my belief. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, don't worry about it. So that's the reality of the situation as we see it, and so we're just going to live in that until proven otherwise. And why I don't, here we are. So I'm excited. Let's keep this energy. I think it'll be fun to share our adventure with y'all. I hope you guys come along with us for whatever this is. And if you don't hear from us in like a week or two, maybe let the authorities know. We would appreciate it. But anyway, I think we can close out there.
And we are working on a live. We just don't know the tech yet, but we are working on a live transmission. So if we do a live, we'd love to have you all join, and as many of you join, leave your comments, because we really are curious about like how we're coming off, and very few people left comments. So subscribe, like, and leave a comment, even if you think we're totally off the wall, or
I don't know if they made it to this far in the episode.
Right.
I think they're kind of on board, or just think we're batshit crazy, which either is valid. So
right.
that's the point. Is Just let us know which side of the spectrum you're
Well, I
on.
have 50 years of psychiatric interrogation, so I really am the most. I am the most psychotic person who ever lives. So as long as you realize that and realize that not only have I passed the test of nonviolence, but I've used nonviolence to completely warp everybody's mind, then we'll get along fine. I meant my first T-shirt was going to be we'll get along fine as long as you realize I'm criminally insane. But now it's just the man from Texas hates taxes.
What?
The man from Texas hates taxes.
Are you the man from Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't have to hate them.
Okay, well, I think that's a good way to stop it.
All right, we love you guys. Peace.
But have a great one.